Good morning, sports fans, and welcome to the Smooth Traffic Special Edition for the 2016 Formula 1 season. I am with Big Bad Bobby King.
Hello everyone.
And I, of course, am Jonny Edge. So we're going to talk about the upcoming F1 season, and let's just get straight into it. Let's have a look at the new teams and drivers for this 2016 Formula 1 season. Let's start with Kingy's favourite, Ferrari.
Yes.
They are your favourites, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
They are the team that, if you get into Formula 1, you want to drive for Ferrari. They've got that pedigree, they've got those delightfully sexy red cars.
Fanatical fans.
Absolutely. Tifosi everywhere.
Tifosi everywhere. And they've got two of the best drivers on the grid as well, in the form of four-time world champion Sebastian Vettel and the madman from Finland, Kimi Räikkönen. I think they're going to have a fantastic season. They've obviously got a lot of work to catch up the Mercedes team, but I've got a really good feeling about Ferrari this season, King.
I completely agree with you, John. I think that Vettel in particular showed last season that they're certainly a team that are making huge leaps forward, really, when you compare it to the year before, when Alonso was unfortunately stuck there with nowhere to go.
Poor Fernando.
I do feel sorry for Fernando. He's one of my favourite drivers. But yeah, Ferrari have got a fantastic team in there now. Moving forwards, I think testing they've looked good.
Yeah, really good.
Been consistent, so fingers crossed they'll be pushing Mercedes.
Someone needs to. I think Ferrari are the only team that could do it, although I have a bit of a curveball with that, Kingy.
Okay.
I'll tell you more a bit later on. Force India, one of the models of consistency on the Formula 1 grid. Always in the points, never setting the world on fire, but I'm a big fan of Sergio Perez. He's aggressive, he's proud, he gets the job done. He's a great race driver. He's not so good in qualifying, but he's a great race driver, and so is Nico Hülkenberg, Le Mans winner. Two fantastic drivers. They've got the Mercedes engine. They're not going to be near the front, I don't think. I think they're going to be 6th, 7th, 8th. They've only got two cars, so they'll have to pick two of them to finish on.
I don't know, I can see them pushing on a little more this season. I've just got a feeling. Again, I know testing isn't always the best indicator of how the season will pan out, but they've been putting in the laps. They've been looking fairly solid. You know, Perez in particular has been pretty consistently fast.
Yep.
Which, as you say, considering he's not the best with the qualifying, maybe that's something that he's been working on. That's why he's putting in the good laps. But
fingers crossed. I'd like to see them do well.
Absolutely.
I'd like to see them do well. They're a nice, consistent team. Smart-looking car, great drivers. We'll see how they go. One of the new boys now, Haas. Very, very close relationship with Ferrari, and that should lead to them avoiding the back of the grid, I think. I reckon these boys are going to be decent. Romain Grosjean, fast Frenchman, slightly inconsistent, but fast. Esteban Gutierrez, remains to be seen what he's going to do. They're going to be good, I think.
I think they've come in with a good driver lineup, certainly.
Yeah.
Considering they're, as you say, the new boys on the grid, I think that they'll certainly be leaps and bounds ahead of Manor, which probably Manor won't want to hear. So.
Tough. Manor, you're going to be at the back. I'll tell him.
Thank goodness you're here, John.
They are going to be at the back. We'll move on to them in a second, though. Well, one other team that's going to be at the back, McLaren Honda. The most disappointing team in Formula 1 history, apart from when they won several world championships 30-odd years ago. Yeah, Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button, the best driver lineup on the grid.
Absolutely.
But
completely
the
agree.
worst car. I think they're going to be the slowest.
Slower than
Manor. Yeah, I think they're going to be the worst team of the year. And I think it's going to be a tragedy. And I'm also going to make a bold prediction about McLaren Honda this season, and that's Fernando Alonso to retire before the end of the season.
Before the end of the season?
Before the end of the season.
Quite a statement.
I think he'll get through the European races, and then he'll pack it in and say, I've had enough of this, this is ridiculous, and he'll call it a day and go out in no glory whatsoever.
Big call, John.
Big call. I'm predicting it here. It's a shame, because Fernando Alonso is the best driver on the grid as far as I'm concerned. It's an absolute crime that he hasn't got more than 2 world titles. He's been so unlucky. Big fan of Jenson as well.
Yes, I think Jenson encapsulates everything that the British public love about Formula 1. You know, he seems like such an affable chap, easy to get on with.
Yeah.
You know, always, even when they're not doing well, which he spent the last season and a bit doing, he always seems
he's a gentleman.
happy to speak to the media and all of this, even if he doesn't really want to. Yeah, he's the quintessential British Formula 1 driver.
Yeah. Plucky.
He keeps just, plugging away,
Yep.
week in, week out.
Let's hope he gets something this year. He deserves something this year. Both of those drivers deserve something this year.
10 points each.
Come on, Honda. Find some power. Power. That's what Mercedes are all about, Kingy.
Yes.
Pure power. They have not shown their hand in testing so far. They've been taking it easy, just doing millions and millions of laps. Millions more than any other team on the grid. Nico Rosberg, the most disappointing German Formula 1 driver of the last 20 years. Including Ralf Schumacher. And Lewis Hamilton, a man who is having the absolute time of his life at the moment, sat in the easiest car to win a world championship on the grid. Yeah, he's going to win the world championship this year. Mercedes are going to win the Constructors' Championship by the end of the second race. And, well, we don't need to say much about Mercedes, really, is it? They're going to run away with it. Absolutely run away with it. And it's going to be a shame. Manor. Mercedes-powered Manor with a new Indonesian driver, Ryu Haryanto.
Yep. And the German, Pascal Wehrlein.
Wehrlein's good. And that's why, part of the reason why, I think they're going to finish ahead of McLaren this season, because I think Wehrlein is a very, very good driver. Not sure about Rio. We'll have to see how he goes. Big prediction, Manor to finish ahead of McLaren. Kingy, I don't know what you think about Manor.
It's a bold statement. I'm still amazed that Manor are still going in Formula 1, to be quite honest. It just beggars belief that you can have a team, consistently last season so far behind everyone, and they're still plugging away. There's something of the plucky Brit about them.
Yeah. A hint of Minardi.
Maybe Jenson Button should join Manor.
Ooh. Tweet us if you think Jenson Button should join Manor.
Or tweet us if you don't think he should. It may be one of my worst ideas ever.
At Smooth Traffic. Red Bull.
Daniel
Ricciardo, who I am a big fan of. I think he's fantastic. And Daniel Kvyat, the Russian, he's going to have a great time in Russia this year at his race in a slightly better car, they hope. Using the Renault engine again.
Yes.
Even though they're not calling it the Renault engine to save face, they're calling it the Tag Heuer. So they're powered by a watch. Probably Tag Heuer's watches are more powerful than a Renault Formula 1 engine at the moment, so we'll wait and see if they have any improvement in performance. I think podiums, Red Bull?
I'd like to think so. Particularly for Ricciardo. I do like Ricciardo. I think he's another one who is always got a positive outlook, always grinning. You never really see him looking miserable.
No.
And I think that's what you need in Formula 1.
He's a good lad.
You need that positive character.
He's the
not
Southern
just the
Hemisphere
arrogance.
Button.
Yes, but slightly younger.
Renault, they're back. They're still giving Red Bull their engines, but they're back with their own team. They've bought out Lotus. They've got Kevin Magnussen and Joe Leon Palmer. I've done it.
You've managed to say his name.
Yeah, I actually have been really struggling to say Joe Leon Palmer's name in the build-up to this. They're going to be rubbish this season. But long term, having Renault back in Formula 1, in 5 years' time, they might score some points. But this season,
I think having Magnussen in the lineup is quite an important move for them, because he was quite hard done by with the McLaren situation.
Yeah, he was.
Although I rather see Jenson still in Formula 1, because I do think if McLaren had kept Magnussen rather than Button, I do think that Jenson might have just left Formula 1.
Yeah.
So, but he's had a year off, back with a new, semi-new team. So, I think it could be a big year for Magnussen. If Renault are going to do anything, then he's definitely the man to do it. Yeah. I don't know much about Jolyon Palmer myself.
No, I don't either. Sauber Ferrari, powered by Ferrari, but Sauber are the most boring team on the grid. Backed by the wealth of Marcus Ericsson and the wealth of Felipe Nasser, not to be confused with Williams' Felipe Massa. Which I do all the time. Sauber, points, 9th and 10th. That's it. That is actually it. That's all you can say about Sauber. Toro Rosso, with an improved Ferrari engine. These boys are going to be podiums.
The kids,
podiums. Max Verstappen is the most promising young driver on the grid. Possibly the most promising young Formula 1 driver of all time. He's going to be a world champion by the time he's 21. Another bold prediction. Yep, Toro Rosso, they're going to be podiums this year. I think they're going to give Ferrari a run for their money. I think they're going to give Mercedes a bit of a chase. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Toro Rosso get on.
I've got an interesting question on Toro Rosso, actually, John.
Yeah?
Just while we're covering it.
Yeah?
Toro Rosso, traditionally feeder team to Red Bull.
Yeah.
Using Ferrari engines, Red Bull obviously switched to Renault this season. Toro Rosso potentially feeder team for Ferrari?
Maybe.
Max Verstappen in a Ferrari.
Ooh,
That could be an exciting prospect.
Because Kimi will not go another season after this, I think. Another bold prediction, Kimi Räikkönen to retire at the end of this season.
Max Verstappen to join Ferrari in his place.
You heard it here first on Smooth Traffic. That is going to happen. That's a guaranteed certainty.
Maybe.
Possibly. The last team on the grid, Williams Mercedes, a British icon of racing. Williams Mercedes, a massive, massive name. Have never quite gone back to the heights that they were at in the late 90s, or the early 90s for that matter. Felipe Massa and Valtteri Bottas. Bottas had a great season last year. I like Bottas.
I'm a big fan.
He's a cool guy.
I keep saying quintessential a lot today, but he's the quintessential Finnish Formula 1 driver.
Doesn't say a lot.
Exactly.
Doesn't even make facial expressions. Just drives incredibly quickly.
Precisely. And occasionally you'll get a little grin out of him, and you think, things have definitely gone well today.
Wow, Valtteri's grinned.
Whereas Felipe Massa, for me, he's a Formula 1 legend.
Really?
Yes.
Felipe Massa, Formula 1 legend.
Genuinely. He was cruelly robbed of that Formula 1 World Championship.
Oh, he was.
Many years ago. Felipe Massa, just consistently there. Had the bad accident, obviously.
Yes.
Came back, still competitive. Could possibly argue that, he's not in the shape that he was, but then, we all get older.
Felipe Massa is the unluckiest driver in Formula 1, so I really, really hope he gets some good luck this season. I'd love to see Williams do well. If Williams can get on the podium again and challenge Mercedes like they have done a couple of times, I would be delighted. Come on, Williams! Well, this year there is going to be 21 Formula 1 races in the World Championship. That's about 5 too many for our liking.
6.
More on that later. Australia, Bahrain, China, Russia, Spain, Monaco, Canada, Baku, Azerbaijan, Austria, Britain, Hungary, Germany, possibly, Belgium, absolutely yes. If there's no Belgium, I'm not even going to watch any race ever again. Italy, same as above. Singapore, Malaysian, Japanese, USA, Mexico, Brazil, and the now traditional finale at the Abu Dhabi circuit.
I believe it's called the Yas Marina circuit. Abu Dhabi's where it is.
I'm going to call it the Abu Dhabi circuit.
Very well.
Because it's easier.
Okay.
There's far too many races in the Formula 1 calendar now. Half of them don't need to be there, but there are 2 that are absolutely worth saving. Italy.
Yes.
No Monza, no Formula 1.
Bold statement, but a fair one, I think.
It is crucial that there is an Italian Grand Prix, and it is crucial that it is held at Monza. If you get rid of circuits like Monza, Spa, you haven't got much left in terms of soul. And that's a massive problem that's facing Formula 1 at the moment. We lost the German Grand Prix last year. I don't care where they hold it in Germany, but they need to hold it somewhere. They have to sort that out quick. Mexico was a nice addition last year, though.
Yes. Yeah, nice to be back in Mexico after several decades, I think.
It was a while, wasn't it?
Was it? Yes.
I think Mansell raced in Mexico.
They had record turnouts, didn't they, apparently, for a Formula 1 race all season. Yes, no, completely agree. Monza, like Spa, like Monaco, these are tracks that are ingrained in the fabric of Formula 1. Without these tracks, you've got nothing.
More than a race.
Yes, absolutely. As you say, Germany, Hockenheim, Nürburgring, either way, you've got a German Grand Prix. British Grand Prix, Silverstone. I've only grown up with it at Silverstone, but if it switched to Donington, Brands Hatch, it would still be acceptable to me.
Yeah, I think so.
But you can't switch Monza.
No, it's not on.
You can't switch Spa. You couldn't do anything about Monaco.
No, it is what it is.
But yeah, the idea that Italy could drop off the calendar altogether is just disgraceful.
They need to sort that out. Sort that out, Bernie. Azerbaijan, I'm not looking forward to that.
Why not?
It looks absolutely terrible, the circuit layout.
But it's got nice 90-degree turns,
Ugh.
which is just what Formula 1 cars love.
It's a disgrace. I'm gonna stick my neck out and say it's a disgrace. We don't need an Azerbaijani Grand Prix. No one cares about Formula 1 in Azerbaijan. No one cares about Azerbaijan. I'll go a step further.
Oh, Christ.
Azerbaijan isn't in Europe, as far as I'm concerned, so why is it called the European Grand Prix? Why can't we have a proper European Grand Prix? At a proper circuit?
Geographically, I would agree with you. Azerbaijan, I wouldn't traditionally class as being part of Europe. However, we live in a world where geography doesn't matter anymore. So, Azerbaijan is a European nation, part of the former Soviet bloc. But I completely agree, I don't think we need to be going to Azerbaijan. We're already driving around the Sochi Autodrome, which
is terrible.
isn't the best.
It's a car park.
For want of a better word, yes. Yeah, I don't think we need to go to Baku as well, just to find out that Eastern Europe is still a little bit chilly and a little bit concrete.
Yeah. It's just one of those places not worth visiting.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I imagine that Baku has a number of cultural opportunities to offer. I mean, we're getting away from the point here.
Yeah, it's unlikely, isn't it?
No, I'm not conceding that. I'm just saying that I think it's not the kind of place that you want to be going racing Formula 1. Why not go back to Zandvoort in the Netherlands?
Yeah.
Or Kyalami in South Africa?
Yeah. Which has just had a refresh.
Yes.
Kyalami.
This isn't even a point about Bernie saying that we're getting Formula 1 out to new countries, all of this, getting it to new audiences. It's not about that at all. It's about what's going in Bernie's back pocket.
Yeah.
And that is not even loose change. We're talking mega bucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolute load of bollocks, but there we go. We're going to sort this out, because when it's Bernie's time to go, shall we say, Big Bad Bobby King here is the guy who's going to step in and sort it out.
Absolutely. We're going back to the good old days. A traditional 16-round Formula 1 World Championship.
The way it should be done.
Johnny and I have taken a lot of time over this, and we've come up with what we feel is the ultimate 16-race calendar.
Yep.
Traditionally, we start at Albert Park in Australia.
Yep, nothing
wrong
with
Where
that.
else would you start a Formula 1 season?
Yeah, absolutely fine.
Then we trundle on over to Interlagos, trip to Brazil,
Yeah.
Felipe Massa can
Wave at some fans.
wave at some fans, try and win a race.
And
But
so
he
can-
won't be robbed of a world championship.
No, exactly. And actually, we come to think of Brazil as being one of the races that's near the end of the calendar now, but it used to be near the start. And
Yes.
I quite like it at the start.
Yes.
Which is why we've chucked it in there, actually.
And then we follow it up with a return to Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Passionate country, Argentina.
Absolutely. And again, back in the mid to late 90s, Argentina with Brazil were both stalwarts at the start of the F1 calendar.
Some good weather in Argentina as well. It can go either way.
Yes,
It's a little bit
absolutely.
like Malaysia in that sense.
Yes.
So yeah, we're happy to chuck Argentina back in there with some refreshments perhaps to the circuit.
Certainly.
Talking of circuit changes, we're heading back to Europe for the start of the European season for race 4, Imola. Pre-1994 Imola.
Yes.
So we're going to keep Tamburello as the wonderful fast corner that it is. And thanks to something called terraforming, we're going to change the landscape around it so it's actually safe to have an accident there at 200 miles an hour. Not sure how we're going to do that. But anyway, it was better in its original layout, I think.
Completely agree.
Spectacular circuit.
And then we move on to the jewel in the F1 crown.
Yep.
That is Monaco.
Yep. Have a glass of champagne.
Champagne, sit on a boat for
Yep.
a day or so, and just while away the time, soaking up the atmosphere
Yep.
of what is, without doubt, the most impressive race in the Formula 1 calendar.
Yeah. It's kind of a procession, isn't it? But there's something about it. It's special.
It evokes memories of days gone by.
Mm-hmm.
It's a magical place,
Yeah.
and I, for one, would love to go there one day
One day.
when I've got at least 40 pence in my wallet.
Yep. Yep. Well, when you're head of the FIA, Kingy.
True, this is a good point.
Yep, we can go over there. Monaco has seen some magic moments, despite it not being a particularly good circuit to race on. Panis,
Olivier Panis. That's all that needs to be
Yeah.
said.
Panis, Senna, Beloff chasing down Prost in the rain that year. Graham Hill's multiple wins in Monaco. Cracking circuit, lots of history. Great excuse to have some champagne. Sit on a boat. Catalunya, Spain.
Yes.
Passionate crowd again. A circuit that's embedded itself into Formula One. It's just one of them places you go now.
Certainly. And somewhere that Fernando Alonso can enjoy himself.
Yeah.
Possibly, if this is his swan song season, then who knows?
They should give him an honorary pole position.
Well, if I'm head of the FIA, John, I'll see what I can do.
Excellent. You're a good boss.
So then, race 7, Silverstone.
The UK, the home of Formula One. All the teams, well, most of the teams, live in the UK.
Yep. Nice short trip back from Spain.
Fantastic facility, Silverstone. Really, really good circuit. Great fans again. It's not bad, is it?
Nope.
No.
Not at all.
Again, one of those absolute must-haves in the F1 calendar.
And then, to break up the European season, we'll pop over to Canada.
Just-
Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve.
Yeah. Quick trip to Canada.
2 weeks between the UK and Canada. Another fantastic setting. And another track that is part of F1 folklore.
Yeah.
The Wall of Champions.
Button coming back through the rain.
Oh, Jenson Button. What an absolute gentleman.
Hamilton's first win. Canada, I believe.
And then, well, that's the mid-season point.
Yeah.
So we've decreed that we will stop for a 3-week boat party.
Yeah.
At Lake Como, where there will be much frivolity,
Yeah.
but everything legal and above board.
Champagne, boats, discos, hosted by the new head of the FIA, Mr. Bobby King. It's going to be a great 3 weeks, that.
Anyway, after that, just a short trip up to Austria to visit the A1 ring, not the Red Bull ring.
No.
There will be no horrendous sponsorship deals.
No, we're not having
when
that.
I'm in charge of the FIA. Another classic circuit, obviously predominantly remembered for the Barrichello Schumacher let me win moment,
Oh, yes. Yes, I've forgotten about
for
that.
want of a better description.
Mansell had his first race in Austria.
Is that so?
That's so, yeah. I think he was sitting in fuel and ended up burning his buttocks.
Good story.
Yeah, that's what happened. Hockenheim.
Old Hockenheim.
Yeah, we've cut down some trees that have just started to get to their full size. We've gone in with some chainsaws and some tarmac.
Yeah, we've put that tarmac back down.
Yeah.
And we're going full 2-minute laps.
Yeah.
Just like the good old days.
Into the trees after the first corner.
Yes.
Spectacular. It was probably the most beautiful circuit in Formula 1 when those cars raced off into the trees. I don't care that it was good for spectators. Tough. Have the stadium section. I want to see Formula 1 cars doing 200 mile an hour into trees. Hockenheim was spectacular.
Is that the best way to phrase that? 200 mile an hour into trees?
Into trees. Yeah, well, into an area surrounded by trees.
Moving on quickly.
Yeah.
So then we come to round 11 of our perfect F1 season,
Yeah.
which would be Monza,
Monza.
Italy. We've already talked about this a lot, so we'll just move swiftly on to round 12.
Actually, we won't. Because
won't.
we have to correct the final corner at Monza, which has been tarmacked over on the outside. So it's fine to just run wide now. Not having that. The gravel's coming back. We're digging it up.
It's lucky that you're taking such attention to detail, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm going to call Titchmarsh and the rest of Ground Force. They're going to dig it up and put the gravel back.
Fantastic. Well, once we've done that and we finished the race at Monza, then we head to Spa. But Spa with the bus stop.
Yes, the old bus stop. The better bus stop.
The proper bus stop.
The proper bus stop, yeah, yeah. We don't have an issue with Spa, do we? Just that
No, not
little
at all.
chicane.
Just
Just
yeah.
needs... just needs fixing to how it used to be, really.
Absolutely.
Spa, the most beautiful circuit in all of the world. The best circuit in all of the world. What more can you say? That's
Round
race 12.
13.
Yeah, let's go on to 13.
Hungary.
It's one of them staple circuits.
It's
just one of them staple circuits you have. It's a bit like Catalonia. It's just a good circuit.
Jenson Button's first win.
Yeah. Other things.
Other things.
Other things have
Yes,
happened
absolutely. Yeah, as you say, it's just one of those staples of the calendar, and it's a track that hasn't really been changed a lot as well.
there. Yeah.
You know, for all of that time, with the exception of possibly slightly higher curbs on the chicanes, you know, it stood the test of time.
It's also a circuit that rewards cars that are not necessarily the most powerful but drive the best.
Damon Hill, Arrows.
Oh, Damon Hill Arrows, yes.
Almost won.
Almost one. I was gutted when that happened. Yeah, so Hungary's a good circuit for perhaps cutting down the advantage of Mercedes somewhat. The next one's controversial, I think.
Round 14.
Yeah, but it is a fantastic circuit.
It's the newest circuit on our list, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Istanbul Park, Turkey.
Turkey. This is symbolic because we're leaving Europe, ignoring the fact we went to Canada.
That was just for a break.
Yeah. They speak French there, so
Yeah.
it's kind of still Europe.
Exactly.
We're heading into Asia after this for rounds 15 and 16 to finish off the season. So symbolically, we're going to stop off in Turkey, not Azerbaijan, along the way. It's a great circuit. It's just a really, really good circuit. I'd love to see it come back because there's some spectacular corners at Turkey, and it's a shame it kind of came and then disappeared again.
Absolutely.
So we're reinstating it. Hopefully we'll get some fans turn up as well, because I don't think any did last time.
Round 15,
Sepang.
Malaysia.
Yeah,
The sheer range of weather conditions
yeah.
make this a nailed-on track for
Hot,
me.
monsoon, drizzle, grey, hot, monsoon. Any of the above can happen. It's a great circuit.
You forgot hot.
Oh yeah, hot as well.
Another terrific circuit. Again, it's a reasonably new track. Joined the calendar in 2000, I think, initially.
Something like that.
Yeah, just lovely sweeping corners, some technical corners.
Yeah.
You know, it's just got a bit of everything about it.
It's a bit of a challenge for drivers.
Absolutely.
The weather, the corners, Sepang. We're a big fan of Sepang, so that's in there. The final race, where every championship has to be decided.
Round 16, Suzuka.
Suzuka in Japan. Majestic circuit.
It's where the championship should always finish. I think over the years there have been so many magical moments at Suzuka.
Hill winning. Senna Prost several times.
Schumacher, Villeneuve.
Yeah, Suzuka's a wonderful place, and it's
It's the kind of track where if you need to be pragmatic, you can be.
yeah.
If you need to beanbag someone, you can do.
You can do, yep. And if you need to really drive the arse off your car, you can. It rewards the best drivers, Suzuka.
Plus, I believe it's the only race on the F1 calendar which has a corner named after an implement for eating, the spoon.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good point, actually. So that's our 16-race Formula 1 season, as approved by new FIA head Bobby King.
So, vote for me, everyone. Oh, wait, it was FIFA that were running the elections, John.
Well, by the time this goes out, qualifying might have changed.
Again.
Which is completely unnecessary. We don't need the qualifying changes. Apparently, we're going to start running some sort of elimination system, like some kind of crap PS2 video game, like Ridge Racer or something. We don't need that.
No, I mean, we've been swinging back and forth as to how qualifying is going to run over the course of the winter break.
And we don't want to see any changes. Of all the things that need changing in Formula 1, qualifying is not one of them. It's a complete waste of time even talking about it, really. 2017 is going to see a few changes. We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves here, but the teams have been talking a lot recently amongst themselves about how to sort of improve Formula 1. They're going to widen the cars, fit bigger tyres, change the shapes of wings, front and rear, and a bit more aerodynamic downforce is planned as well.
They're not, though, are they?
No, because Pirelli, who make the tyres, have said, no, we can't do that because tyre pressures are going to go up a lot, and that's going to result in a loss of grip. I'm thinking that Pirelli would be able to solve a problem like that.
Especially in the space of 12 months.
Yeah, they've got a year to think about it.
The sheer figures that we're talking about regarding downforce and things are just off the scale.
Yeah.
So, I can see Pirelli's point. They were saying 25 to 60% estimated increase in downforce. Pirelli have said that the new tyres won't be able to cope with more than 10 to 15% increase. So, I mean, that in itself seems reasonably generous, but are they holding back the sport? Do the FIA, or does Bernie need to look at possibly looking at a different tyre manufacturer again?
I think so. I think they need to bring in some competition for Pirelli. I think that would do the sport a load of good.
Yeah, absolutely.
There used to be tyre competition, and it used to be quite interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think bring it back. Get Bridgestone back in, get Goodyear back in if they fancy some of it. Even
Michelin.
Dunlop. Michelin. Yeah. Get them in, the French guys. So basically these changes were planning on sort of a 5-second a lap increase in speed. They're now looking at 3 seconds, which is still better because the Formula 1 cars are ridiculously slow nowadays. Well, compared to what they used to be.
They still make a terrible noise, though.
They make a terrible noise, yeah. That's never going to change now, sadly. We'll wait and see what happens with that. Engines. Yeah, supposedly going to get cheaper. Engines for the season normally cost teams around 20 million euros, which is quite a lot. But they want to standardise lots of components of the engines to hopefully bring down the cost to around 7.5 million euros a year, which helps quite a lot, actually. Engine design and regulations are expected to remain the same, which is a real shame because we want to see V10s and V12s back and actually have some noise at the circuits, which is a massive appeal. It's what captivates the imagination of so many people. If you go to the Goodwood Festival of Speed and you've never heard a mid-90s Formula 1 V10 engine 30, 40 feet away from you, do it. Because it's otherworldly. It's not even like an engine. It's more like a sort of mythical beast that makes that kind of noise. It's incredible. It's a real shame we've ended up with these cars that sound a bit more like Hoovers, really. But there we go. What can you do? They're also planning to bring in the Halo device for 2017, which is the head protection. Safety. That's not going to work for me.
Okay.
It's not going to work. It wouldn't have saved Bianchi, I think it's fair to say. It wouldn't have saved Senna. Whether it would have saved IndyCar drivers, who knows? I'm concerned that what it's actually going to do is going to make it more difficult to get drivers out of the car should there be a really serious accident. Obviously, this remains to be seen. I'm not convinced by it whatsoever.
It's something I haven't read enough about to offer an opinion on, I'm afraid, John. But I will take you at your word because you are quite the knowledge on safety in Formula 1. Jackie Stewart being one of your heroes.
Oh yes, Jackie Stewart is one of my heroes, yeah. The most important man in F1 history. So there we go, there's a few changes. A whole new race calendar, as reorganised by Smooth Traffic. Some absolute criticism of Azerbaijan for its geography and its race circuit. And some pretty bold predictions. Kingy, who's your world champion for 2016?
Begrudgingly, Lewis Hamilton.
Yep, he's right. Lewis Hamilton is going to be the world champion this year. Prediction for constructor.
Begrudgingly,
Yep.
Mercedes.
I'm going to go Manor. I better not. I'll say Mercedes. I've made enough bold predictions in this podcast.
The real question, John, who will finish second in the Constructors' Championship?
Ferrari.
Who will finish third in the Drivers' Championship?
Max Verstappen.
Max Verstappen.
Yep.
In the Toro Rosso.
In the Toro Rosso.
Yet Ferrari will finish higher in the Constructors.
Yep.
Interesting.
Maths is not my strong point. We'll wait and see what happens. Until Australia, until the next episode of Smooth Traffic, thanks for coming, and we'll see you trackside maybe.